Grandmaster nightfalls can be some of the most fun yet challenging activities in in-game content. It'd be great to use a build that has great and fantastic utility and survivability, wouldn't it? Hi, my name's Avatar, and in today's video, I'm going to show you one of my favorite Void Hunter builds to run in Grandmaster Nightfalls. Using this build, especially if you've not done a lot of GMs, will help make your run so much easier. It provides survivability with almost constant uptime on damage resistance, invisibility, void overshields, and a super that not only tethers enemies together, but also weakens them with a debuff to deal extra damage. You're not going to have trouble clearing any Grandmaster with this build. And to make it easier for you, I've put a dim link for the build below, so go check that out. Furthermore, if you're looking for people to play any type of content, whether it be in-game, raids, stories, dungeons, whatever it is, our Discord is thriving and full of active players that love the game and want to help you out. So go check out that Discord link and find a fire team. If you like the build or you find the video helpful, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. And for those of you that have recently subbed or even joined our Discord, I wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, let's break this build down. First, we want to be using Night Stalker with the Deadfall super. This is going to allow us to have the shortest super cooldown, but also trap, suppress, and weaken any enemy that gets tethered to it. Next, we want to be using our Snare Bomb to not only make us invisible in times of need, but our teammates as well. Pairing it with the Omnioculus exotic chest piece will give us an additional Snare Bomb, refund melee energy when we make our allies invisible, but also give us damage resistance while doing so. The grenade of choice for the build is going to be Vortex Grenade. I prefer Vortex just because its ability to pull enemies in. At the end of the day, grenade's preference, you can use whatever you want. For aspects, we're going to go with Vanishing Step to become invisible while dodging, and further uptime with our melee, we're going to be pairing that with Gambler's Dodge. So when we dodge near an enemy, we get our melee back. Our second aspect is going to be Trapper's Ambush. This gives us an in-air ability to slam our smoke bomb down, weakening nearby enemies and making us and our allies that are close invisible. Fragments, the first one that we're using is Echo of Undermining, which makes our grenades weaken targets. Echo of Harvest is going to give us an Orb of Power and a Void Breach when we defeat a weakened target. Then it's going to be Echo of Starvation to get Devour when we pick up an Orb of Power or a Void Breach. And our final fragment is going to be Echo of Persistence, meaning our void buffs like Invisibility and Devour are going to have a longer duration. Those are going to work perfectly with the modern artifact mods that we're going to be using. Void Hegemony, however you want to pronounce that, gives us an overshield when we defeat a weakened target. We're going to use Elemental Siphon as well, giving us a Void Breach on rapid kills with our kinetic weapon of choice, which will be Outbreak Perfected. It's also going to be our main source of dealing with barrier champions, and it has great functionality in terms of just damage in general. Third, we're going to be using Counter Energy, which gives us ability energy to our least charged ability when we or a member of our fire team sends a champion, which, since we're playing Grandmasters, is going to be pretty often. Since we're using the Rocket Sidearm for Unstoppable, we're going to be using Indebted Kindness from Warlord's Ruin. You can also use Airbent Action, the new solar one, also is a fantastic choice to do. But since we're using the Warlord's Rocket Sidearm, we're going to be throwing on Overcharged Armory to give a damage buff to weapons with the Sundering Origin perk, which basically just helps us do a little bit extra damage with that Rocket Sidearm. And of course, we do want to be using Volt Shot. Volt Shot is just fantastic when it comes to clearing ads, dealing extra damage when you're surrounded by a bunch of ads. It's a fantastic perk. If you need help grinding that, again, Discord in the bio. The helmet mod that we're going to opt to use for this one is going to be Kinetic Siphon for orb generation, as well as Heavy Ammo Finder and Heavy Ammo Scout to give us and our allies heavy ammo, or the chance to get more to drop, really. So for our gauntlets, we always are going to be using Fastball because grenades just throw better with Fastball, honestly. Bolstering Detonation to gain class ability energy when we cause damage with a grenade, and Momentum Transfer to reduce our melee cooldown when we cause damage with our grenade. And then going on our chest piece, we're going to go with Resistance Mod, matching the Grandmaster that we are playing, so those are going to be interchangeable week to week. Leg mods, we're going to be using two Solar Surge mods to give us increased damage on our heavy. And this week is Solar Surge and Linear Fusion Surge. So we are opting to use Briar's Contempt to just help deal with DPS on the boss and just more tanky enemies. Heavy can be switched out depending on what the Grandmaster of the week is and what the surges are. So really, the end of the day, it's your choice. Even a rocket would be a great option, or hell, use a machine gun, whatever fancy. And finally, we have our cloak mods. So we're going to be using Reaper. Reason being is every time we use our class ability, our next defeat is going to create an orb of power, which is just going to cycle back into aspect fragments that we're going to be using. And of course, we love Reaper. And then followed by Outreach to further reduce any melee cooldown. So when we dodge, just gives us our melee cooldown faster. Lastly, Bomber to reduce our grenade energy while dodging. So again, all of this is just meant to be synergistic with each other, so you can all constantly have uptime on any type of ability, as well as just damage reduction from using those abilities. And of course, weakening targets with your grenades. So there you have it. That's it. It's going to be the easiest Grandmaster build. It's going to help you survive, but also you'll have constant uptime on all different abilities. And the fantastic thing about this build is you can easily switch out the weapons to something that you're more comfortable with. At the end of the day, every Grandmaster is going to be different week to week, different types of champions, different types of surges. Build-wise, this can stay the same. Just switch out the weapons to make it match with that week's Grandmaster or any other content that you're trying to do. So thank you all for checking out this video. I hope that it helped. Hope you found it useful. And again, feel free to join the Discord. We've got a great community there and I'm super stoked. A lot of people have already joined and have found fire teams that way. But until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one.